Hey, what's up guys? Art of Personal Development here. Welcome back to another video. So today I'm just going to be shortly talking about some spiritual things that I forgot about that really helped me in my advancement in spirituality, and mostly being happy with my life and changing my life and my personal reality. So I had felt really disconnected, from the divine recently. And I guess it's because I forgot that actions are part of your personality. Actions are part of what is reflected to you. And I got too focused on working and making money and, building my car and buying a quad and doing so much materialistic stuff that I forgot about the spiritual. And a major thing for the spiritual is to do what you're passionate about, which for me is making videos and sharing, this message. I just forgot about it. I discarded it. And when you're not doing what you're passionate about on the daily basis, you're not going to be on the same frequency, because when you're passionate about something, you're actually happy, you're in a good mood, you feel good doing what you're doing when you're doing it. And it'll even change your mindset or your productivity or the way you feel for the rest of the day. And so I stopped making videos. I just focused on everything, like working and a whole bunch of materialistic stuff. And even though that might have brought me happiness, I did feel good at the time, but that's just for instant pleasure. When you're really focused on materialistic stuff, like playing video games, or like what I was doing was riding this quad that I bought, or a trike, and just going off-roading, and then fixing up my car. It's instant stimulation. You're getting stimulated for the moment while you're doing it. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but when you start doing what you're passionate about, what you want to do for the rest of your life, what you want to do for work, even though it's not work, it's playing and then getting paid to play because you're so passionate about it, that is something, it's like a step above, because you're getting paid to do something that you love. And being so passionate about that, you're putting that out, you're creating, and it'll just be a lot more beneficial than just doing stuff for a temporary stimulation. It's just temporary happiness. Like when you eat, you're eating, you might feel good or whatever, but just because you're stimulating your brain, you're literally stimulating your stomach, your brain, and there's a connection there. And besides doing what you're passionate about, another thing that I noticed I completely stopped doing was meditating. And to be realistic, you don't need to meditate 5 hours a day to be spiritual, or to be more connected to the divine, or more present in the present moment, or more conscientiousness. You don't need to meditate for 4 or 5 hours a day. If you meditate 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, that is way more than enough to advance so much in your recognitive skills, your attention span. That'll do miracles for you. Just being able to sit down. And a lot of people also, they have a misconception of meditating. So a lot of people think that you have to sit there and not think, just blink out your mind. That's not true. It's not possible. Your mind will always be racing, and the thing is that you'll find out that your thoughts are not really your thoughts. They're just thoughts that your mind's fucking processing because you've been thinking about them, and so it keeps going because your mind never really stops, even when you're sleeping. And so what you learn from it is that you won't ever stop your thoughts. You might be thinking, and then boom, but thought will randomly cross your mind, and then you're lost in that thought, and back and forth. So what you learn to do is to just listen to them, just how you hear the wind hitting the trees outside, how you hear the birds chirping, how you hear water running when you're at a lake. Just sit there and listen to them and just allow them to be. Do not identify with your thoughts. Know that those thoughts are not your thoughts. Those thoughts are probably someone else's thoughts that you heard throughout the day, and now you're processing them. And that allows you to create a little gap. Meditating allows you to create a little gap between you and your thoughts, so you're not as impulsive. You're not always on reaction mode. Something happens, like someone cuts you off, you're not just reacting to it. Like, oh, you start cussing this guy out, blah blah blah, he cut me off. And that brings me to another point. So first one was doing what you're passionate about. Second one is meditation. The third one is mindfulness, being really, really mindful, knowing that everything is mindfulness, that the mind is that the universe is mental. What this means is that you give the meaning to everything. If you see, like I said, someone cut you off and then you go off on them like, oh, you blah 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 blah, mother effer and this and that, obviously you gave the meaning that guy cutting you off was bad. You're the one who's like, oh no, this guy cut me off, he's a bad person, blah blah blah. You gave it that meaning. You didn't have to. You could have, instead of reacting, observed and responded instead of reacting. And so respond in your vibration, who you are, and hopefully that's a positive one. So just responding positively to it, not being like, oh, I don't know, happy about it, but at least not negatively. At least just observing it, let it be what it was, and that's it. Like, you don't have to go out and blow up and ruin your mood because some guy just simply cut you off and you don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's having a much worse day than you are. And so you could apply that with anything. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, whatever, you give the meaning to it, and you could either choose to be like, oh, well, you know what, things are meant to be, or like, things happen for a reason, so I'm not gonna victimize myself to this. Or you could be like, I am gonna victimize myself to this, and I'm gonna be sad and depressed all day. And of course you feel the way you feel at the end of the day, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling a certain way if you feel sad or whatever. But another thing is feeling it and then acting it out. And then, so one thing is feeling it and acting it out, and the other thing is feeling it, observing it, and then changing it to obviously something positive, because you don't want to be in a negative mindset. And another way to observe this is simply knowing that, just like I said, not being in reaction mode. Not just reacting to whatever happens, but instead choosing and observing and being in control of your feelings. It's like if the dog gets happy, he shakes his tail, but instead of the dog getting happy and shaking his tail, the tail shakes him. That look kind of weird. Imagine if you're holding the dog by the tail and the dog shaking instead of the tail. The emotions are controlling the dog instead of the dog controlling the emotions through his tail. It's the same. That's a good way to look at it. So doing what you're passionate about. What was the second one? Meditation. Sorry. So doing what you're passionate about, meditating, being mindful, and talking to your water. So vibration, remembering that everything is in motion. And if you think this is a hocus pocus thing, there's a whole bunch of scientific studies done on this. So if you want, go look at those first and then come back to this video. Just look up talking to your water, scientific research, and you'll find what I'm about to tell you. So a lot of scientists, they got water, put it in a jar or whatever, and then they went ahead and either said positive or negative things to it. Like, oh, you are loved, you are worthy, you are great, you are awesome, or a whole bunch of hate, or they play like really dark, heavy, like metal music. And there was two big differences in between the water when they froze them. So they froze the waters, the positive one and the negative one, and the positive water, the water that they spoke positively to, had beautiful crystals in it. Beautiful, right? I know it's all, by definition. Basically, they're more organized crystals more clear to see, not as distorted. They created like geometrical circles or whatever it might be, crystals. And the other one, the hate one, the negative one, was just really like hard to see through it, really disturbed, like everything was just kind of everywhere. So there was an obvious difference in between both of them, and they did it over and over again and saw the same results. And the reason being is because the positive vibration and the negative vibration. The positive vibration, obviously you're speaking a lot more positively, a lot more nice things to it. And the negative one, you're speaking negative things to it. And everything is in vibration, guys. Everything's in vibration. So you the way that you feel, think, and act creates your personality. And your personality is also known as your vibration. And that vibration where you're vibrating at is what you're receiving from life. So you're vibrating here, so you're receiving this in return. If you change your vibration, you'll change what you're receiving. And Bob Proctor talks about this a lot. I'll put up a little picture here of how he likes to describe it. So just simply change your vibration, the way that you feel, think, and act, and then you'll change what you're receiving from life. Of course, you have to give it time and be patient with it. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I had felt really disconnected, because I stopped doing what I'm passionate about, which is making these videos. I stopped meditating, and then I stopped being mindful. I was kind of on reaction mode, and I stopped talking to my water for sure a long time ago. And that's something that I really want to start doing again, because I saw crazy amazing benefits from doing that. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be what you seek, do what you love. Art of personal development.